Let's face it, there's nothing more frustrating than arriving at the airport only to be pulled aside by the TSA because something in your checked bag isn't allowed. You spent hours packing, carefully reviewing your itinerary, and now you're standing there, helplessly watching your smart luggage flagged and rejected. In 2025, TSA rules for checked baggage have gotten even stricter, and these aren't just casual suggestions. Break the rules, and you could face fines, delays, or worse, miss your flight entirely. But don't worry, we're going to walk you through the updated rules so you know what to pack, what to leave behind, and how to avoid unnecessary airport drama. Fireworks and explosives. Leave the boom at home. Let's start with something that should be obvious but apparently isn't. Fireworks and anything explosive. Whether it's firecrackers from a festival or sparklers you forgot were in your bag, TSA doesn't make exceptions. In fact, their position is a hard no. Anything that can combust, fireworks, novelty explosives, even tiny party poppers, are completely banned from both checked and carry-on bags. The aircraft cargo hold may be pressurized, but it's not designed to contain explosions. One spark can jeopardize the entire flight, so don't try to argue that it's just a couple sparklers. If it can ignite, it can't fly. End of story. Save yourself the embarrassment and the delay by leaving anything with a fuse at home. Pressurized containers, potential time bombs. Now, let's talk about something equally dangerous, but a lot sneakier. Pressurized containers. You might think that a whipped cream dispenser or a CO2 cartridge is harmless, but under cabin pressure, these items can become mini time bombs. That's why things like propane tanks, scuba diving tanks, and many aerosol sprays are not allowed in checked baggage. The rapid change in air pressure can cause containers to burst or leak, creating a very real safety hazard. Planning to go scuba diving or camping on your trip? Rent or buy your gear locally. For those foodies who travel with culinary tools, skip packing that whipped cream canister. And don't forget, items like spray paint, bear repellent, or other pressurized sprays are often restricted as well. Even if they seem essential to your trip, they could cause delays or permanent confiscation. Dry ice. Yes, but with restrictions. For travelers who need to keep items cool, especially those flying with frozen seafood or temperature-sensitized medications, dry ice can be a lifesaver. But it comes with strict guidelines. TSA allows up to 5.5 pounds or 2.5 kilograms of dry ice in checked luggage. However, it must be clearly labeled and stored in a ventilated container that allows the gas to safely dissipate. And don't forget to check your airline's specific requirements. If you're flying with medical supplies, carry documentation to avoid additional scrutiny. Failure to meet these guidelines could lead to your bag being pulled, or worse, your items being thrown away. Whether it's gourmet cheese or life-saving medicine, pack it correctly or don't pack it at all. Tools. Size and safety matter. You might be surprised to learn that some tools are allowed in your checked luggage, but not all. Items like small wrenches and screwdrivers are generally acceptable, but anything large, sharp, or potentially weapon-like, think chainsaws, hammers, and power drills, raises serious red flags. TSA evaluates whether a tool can be used as a weapon, and that often comes down to its size and weight. Power tools must also be completely drained of fuel before packing, and any sharp components should be securely sheathed. If your tools are crucial for work or repairs at your destination, make sure they conform to TSA's size guidelines. When in doubt, consider shipping them separately to avoid complications. Smart luggage. Battery must be removable. Smart luggage may look sleek and sophisticated, but it can also get grounded if you're not careful. TSA's rule for 2025 is simple. If your smart suitcase has a built-in lithium battery, it must be removable. Because lithium-ion batteries are known fire risks in pressurized environments. If the battery can't be taken out, your suitcase isn't going anywhere, whether it's checked or carried on. Before you leave home, double-check your bag's specs. If the battery is removable, it must be taken out and carried in your cabin bag. Otherwise, prepare for a last-minute scramble to buy new luggage at the airport. Fragile and valuable items, carry them with you. Next, let's talk about something sentimental. Fragile and valuable items. Whether it's a piece of glassware from your travels, expensive electronics, or an heirloom necklace, your checked bag is not the place for it. Baggage gets tossed, crushed, and stacked during transit. Even if the item doesn't break, there's always the risk of theft. Checked baggage theft isn't talked about much, but it happens more often than you'd think. To protect your valuables, always pack them in your carry-on. If you absolutely must check them, wrap them in layers of soft clothing, label them as fragile, and prepare for the worst. Religious and cultural artifacts. Proceed with caution. Traveling with a ceremonial item or religious artifact, think twice before checking it. TSA agents aren't trained to recognize the cultural significance of a ritual dagger or carved wooden staff. If an item looks sharp, unfamiliar, or symbolic, it might be flagged as a threat. Even things like powders, incense, or wrapped cloths can trigger suspicion. If you're traveling internationally with such items, do your homework. Check both TSA's website and your destination country's customs regulations, and in many cases, it's safer to ship such items home with insurance rather than risk having them confiscated or damaged at the airport. Food, especially meat and seafood. Can you check food? Yes, but should you? That's a different question, especially when it comes to meat and seafood. Let's say you're packing that fresh Alaskan salmon you bought on your trip. Unless it's vacuum sealed, stored in an insulated container, and triple bagged, cargo holds aren't refrigerated, and any leaks can contaminate other bags and even create a health hazard. Plus, customs rules can be strict about meat and seafood imports. Many countries banned them entirely. Even airlines have their own rules. If you're not absolutely sure it's allowed, skip it and buy fresh at your destination. Drones and lithium batteries. Know the limits. Drone enthusiasts, listen up. You can check your drone, but not the batteries. Lithium-ion batteries must be carried on due to fire risk. In fact, many airlines now require that batteries be below 30% charged during transport. It's also smart to tape over the terminals to prevent accidental activation, and if your drone includes GPS functionality, make sure it's turned off or set to flight mode. Unsure about your model? Call the airline ahead of time. It's better to be over-prepared than to have your expensive equipment grounded. Alcohol. Check the ABV. You can check alcohol in your luggage, but there are limits. TSA allows bottles under 70% alcohol by volume, for spirits between 24% and 70% ABV, and it must be unopened and in its original packaging. Always cushion bottles in leak-proof bags and wrap them with soft clothing to prevent breakage. Some nations limit or even ban alcohol imports regardless of TSA regulations. You don't want your pricey scotch confiscated at customs. Medications. Never check the essentials. One of the biggest mistakes travelers make is packing essential medications in their checked bags. If your luggage is delayed or lost, that could spell disaster. Always keep prescriptions and important meds in your carry-on. And if you have liquid medications that exceed TSA's fluid limits, declare them at security. Exceptions are made for medical needs, but you'll need to show proof. Carry a copy of your prescription and a doctor's note if possible, especially when traveling internationally. Some countries have very specific rules about what you can bring across their borders. Bonus tips most people forget. Still with us? Good, because here are a few final bonus tips that could save you time and stress. First, lithium batteries and power banks should never go in your checked bag. These are only allowed in carry-ons, and anything over 100 watt-hours may require airline approval. Always check the rating on your device before packing. Second, vapes and e-cigarettes are considered hazardous due to the lithium batteries and aerosol components. Some countries ban them outright, so do your research. Finally, check the labels on anything that sprays or contains compressed air. If it's flammable or under pressure, odds are it needs to stay out of your checked luggage.